This is the AI Desk, special episode. National security versus AI safety, the fracture no one can ignore. Today's episode is different. No hype cycle breakdown, no compute economy update, no model leak. Instead, we're talking about something moving beneath the surface, a tension that has been building quietly for years between national security agencies and the private AI labs developing the world's most capable models. The incentives of sovereign states and the incentives of AI safety researchers are now on a collision course. And right at the center of that collision are labs like Anthropic and OpenAI, and leaders like Dario Amodei and Sam Altman. This is your special briefing. Over the past 2 years, advanced AI systems crossed a quiet threshold. Not AGI, but close enough that governments no longer see them as software. They now see them as strategic assets, national security variables, potential defense risks. Once that shift happened, friction was inevitable. National security agencies prioritize stability, early visibility, geopolitical advantage. The ability to employ AI wherever legally authorized. But the reality is messier. In wartime, legally authorized depends on who's drawing the map. A military action one nation sees as lawful may be condemned by another. And AI systems risk being pushed directly into those gray zones. Frontier labs, meanwhile, prioritize safety norms, research independence, guardrails that hold across borders, multilateral oversight. Both sides believe they are protecting society. They're just solving different problems. This isn't a personality clash. It's a structural misalignment. Anthropic occupies a unique position. They're the safety-first lab. Slow, deliberate, research-driven, and unusually transparent about how their models make decisions. Their signature approach, constitutional AI, essentially encodes a values framework into the model's operating behavior. And from a national security perspective, that raises obvious questions. If future models shape future power, who shapes the values that shape the models? Anthropic's collaboration with Palantir Technologies is part of what brought them deeper into government workflows. But with that access came pressure. And when agencies quietly asked for alignment overrides, Anthropic responded with principled hesitation, its boundaries, and who gets to draw them. On February 27, 2026, the White House issued a rapid-fire directive ordering federal agencies to purge Anthropic systems from all government networks. This wasn't a phased policy shift. It was an explosion. After months of closed-door negotiations, the Department of War, led by Secretary Pete Hegseth, issued an ultimatum. Remove your restrictions on the use of Claude for all lawful purposes, or lose federal access. The sticking points were two capabilities Anthropic refused to authorize: domestic mass surveillance augmentation, fully autonomous weapons system integration. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei did not blink. He stated unequivocally that the company cannot in good conscience enable uses that violate its core safety standards. The administration's response was immediate. Anthropic was designated a supply chain risk to national security. That's the same legal category normally used for hostile nation vendors or compromised foreign software. And here's the pivot. Hours later, Sam Altman and OpenAI stepped into the vacuum. OpenAI announced a landmark agreement with the Department of War, a partnership designed, at least publicly, to preserve safety constraints while still allowing federal deployment. Altman framed it as a partnership for safety. He claims the government agreed to respect OpenAI's internal safety stack, including prohibitions on autonomous force and persistent surveillance. Whether that holds is another question, because in one day, we saw two diverging philosophies crystallize. Anthropic chose a principled exit, sacrificing government influence for ethical consistency. OpenAI chose to stay inside the tent, believing the right guardrails can only be built from within. This isn't just a policy dispute. It's the new map of AI governance. This is as much about egos as it is about incentive structures. Governments want predictability, compliance, and national advantage. Labs want safety, research independence, and a multi-stakeholder process. Markets want speed, capability jumps, and competitive edge. When these three forces overlap, they don't blend, they collide. Here's the reality. As AI advances, the state will increasingly treat frontier models the way it treats nuclear systems, energy grids, or GPS, as strategic infrastructure. And safety-driven labs will increasingly push back, trying to remain independent auditors of that power. This friction isn't an anomaly. It is the defining feature of the next phase of AI history. We talk a lot about benchmarks and release dates. But beneath the code is a much larger negotiation between safety, sovereignty, and speed. The tension between security agencies and AI labs is opening up a can of worms of how AI will play or be applied, not only in military strategy, logistics, and the actual execution in war. We are heading toward the type of warfare that many Star Wars fans have seen: autonomous AI robots fighting each other on the battlefield. The question of applying AI to legal military activities is a gray area. What one country may consider a legal military action, another may not. This is where humans will never change. And how we resolve that tension will determine not just what AI can do, but who gets to decide what it's allowed to do. This has been a special episode of the AI Desk.